Let's talk about the importance of Poly Styrene, a punk icon. Born in 1957, Marianne Joan Elliott Said grew up in Brixton, and it was quite a tough childhood. This was post-war Britain, and the National Front was marching outside in front of her estate. Her dad was described as a dapper Somali man who worked on the docks, and her mum was a white British legal secretary. Growing up, Marianne was often bullied for being mixed race. The white kids didn't know what to do with her, and the black kids said that she wasn't black enough. Marianne wrote a poem about this called Half Caste, which was a term applied to mixed race people back in the day. In the poem, she wrote, "Black is beautiful, white's all right, you're half caste, child. Do you want to fight?" I feel it's that feeling of being an outsider that inevitably drew Marianne towards punk, a form of music that she always credited for being about people that wanted change for the better. In 1976, she put an advert in the Melody Maker and ended up forming the group X-Ray Specs. When it came to choosing her own stage name, Marianne simply picked up the Yellow Pages, which was basically Google before we had the internet, and she settled on the name Poly Styrene. She wanted something plastic and disposable, like a pop star. Not only was Polly the front woman of X-Ray Specs, she also created all of their artwork. And while she didn't actually own the label of punk, she did appreciate that it meant that she could play with her image. Of course, it was her image that a lot of people remember about Polly. She often made her own clothes, wore charity shop buys, wore neon knits and bright pink socks, and often had red or pink eyebrows and lips. Sadly, as with most people who stand out, Polly gained a lot of attention and criticism, which I'm not sure that she was prepared for mentally. Often in interviews, journalists would insinuate that she was unattractive and overweight, when all Polly wanted was to be seen as an artist. When you listen to Polly singing songs such as Identity or Artificial, you might think you're listening to an angry woman. But if you watch her documentary, Poly Styrene, I Am a Cliche, you'll soon see that she actually had this kind of childlike wonder and curiosity about the world. And to me, she's someone very precious who lives so that other sensitive creatives could feel seen and understood. For the likes of Swedish singer-songwriter Neneh Cherry, Polly walked so that she could run. In her biography, A Thousand Threads, Neneh writes, "I was proud of her and she made me proud of myself. I took refuge in her likeness, making our way in a world that offered so few paths for us." Polly died from breast cancer in 2011, but there is so much more to her story and her life. There is a reason that she's in Rolling Stone's greatest singers of all time. I highly recommend you listen to her music and definitely check out Poly Styrene, I Am a Cliche, the documentary that was directed by her daughter, Celeste Bell. I actually interviewed Celeste Bell in the latest episode of my podcast. You can find it anywhere. Let me know in the comments what Polly meant to you, or if this is the first time you're hearing her name.